Hey guys, my name is Brianna. Welcome to Envision and Embody. So, the topic that I want to talk about today is self-help is not a lifestyle. It's a tool to be used when a certain aspect of your life needs some attention or when you need to gain a greater understanding of something. But once you've kind of peeled back that layer of the onion, take some time to integrate that and live your life, right? So I know for myself, I've been at points in my life stuck in that self-help loop. And I think it's super easy to get there because when you open up a self-help book or watch a video that really resonates with you, really what that person does is they are able to name exactly how you're feeling. They're able to name the goal that you're working towards, and then they kind of provide something that bridges that gap for you, and it's amazing. It is like the sweet nectar of life. Like, it is one of my favorite things ever. And for myself, that actually started with sales, right? So I started in sales about 6 years ago without any knowledge of, how to be a salesperson. And I really did want to get a handle on that skill and start to grow in my career. And when I picked up my first sales book, they understood the fears that were in my mind. They understood the goals that I was working towards, and they helped to give me the steps to be able to kind of do it. And it was one of the coolest things ever, right? And then as I kind of got deeper into sales and business self-development, I started to understand how much mindset and psychology plays into success in business and in sales. And that had me picking up different kinds of books that, started to dig into psychology and childhood and all of that. And that continued to help me to grow in my career, but also grow in my life too, which was really cool to see. Now, the reason that I share all of this is because I want you to know I'm not knocking self-help in any way. It's something that I think I'll continue to pick up and be a part of for the rest of my life. But I just want to kind of lay out how it went from being something that was beautiful and beneficial to something that started to make me question myself. Now, the deeper that I got into psychology books, I started to realize that there were some changes that I needed to make into my own life. And one of them was quitting drinking. I've been very open on social media about how I have quit drinking. And anyone who's went through breaking an addiction knows that once you've kind of went through those initial steps of breaking an addiction, spirituality starts to come into play quite a bit, just because you do need something bigger than yourself to look up to. I would say in the last 6 months to a year, I've focused a lot of my self-help on spirituality, and gaining a greater understanding of myself as a spiritual being and kind of what I believe in, right? And through that, I've noticed when I was learning a lot about sales, there was a lot of different people I could share that with, professionally and in my personal life. It was an interesting topic to talk about. Same thing with psychology. I was surrounded with a lot of people who that information could help them in a lot of ways. So it was exciting to share, and it created a lot more connection in my life, and that was amazing. But then when I started to get more into the spirituality, spirituality can be quite personal, right? Depending on who you are. And for myself, I just found it was great that I was gaining this greater understanding for myself and what I believed in. But that's where it really started to turn into a hamster wheel, because I kind of would say with the spirituality, I continued to read books and watch videos and intake information when I had already kind of hit my threshold and I already knew how I felt about certain things. And that's when information overload can start to make you question yourself and question what you actually believe. And I would say it actually starts to stop growth. Now, I think that you could find this in all aspects of self-help. You could find it with, the spirituality, you can find it with the psychology, you can find it with the business. If you get information overload in any one of those aspects, it just starts to get messy because different people from different backgrounds are going to have different opinions. Now, as I've taken a step back from like the self-help world in the last like month or so, I haven't really been reading many books. I haven't really been watching many videos. I've been just kind of trying to understand where I'm at and what I need. And that's just made me realize how much self-help can become an addiction, just like anything else. So this video isn't to knock self-help or say that self-help is something that you should never become a part of. It's quite the opposite. I do think that self-help is something that I will advocate for the rest of my life. I think that if there's a problem in your life that you need to solve and there's a book that solves that problem, pick it up and see if it can help you, right? But it's important to remember that you aren't a robot. You don't need to be worked on 24/7. You are a work in progress, and you know, if you're not growing, you're dying, and I truly believe those things, but it doesn't need to feel like an everyday project that's hard and unfulfilling. And I hope that helps someone today. So if you made it to the end of the video, please subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this community. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.